I want to talk a little bit about slings today. I am going to try to keep this video short, but keep in mind that slings are a rather deep topic. First of all, should you have a sling or should you not have a sling? There is a philosophy out there, especially when it comes to home defense, that I've heard that shotguns and rifles really don't need slings for your average home defense situation. I could definitely see that. I will say this though. I don't recommend attaching a sling to a long gun unless you intend to do some sort of practical training with it. It doesn't have to be extensive, but there are a few things you have to figure out. And yes, for practical home defense, if you don't want to deal with it, then go slingless. There are pros and cons to everything you do, okay? So basically, when you have a sling, you have a little bit more mobility because now you have use of your two hands if you need to do something else. If you intend to do any sort of training that involves intermediate to advanced work out on an open range, running and gunning, you most definitely need a sling. If you intend to take any sort of a rifle class, that's a serious rifle class, you absolutely need a sling. So first of all, there are different types of slings, and there are a few considerations. Let's start with just attachment of the sling. Nowadays, most slings have quick detach on them, all right, and most modern rails on rifles have QD points, and some of these are built into the rail and some of them you can attach to the rail, and it's all up to you. So you're going to have to consider where on the rail you want your QD point, and rifles and stocks also come with QD options. You have a QD option here at the castle nut, and you also have QD options here on right or left side of the stock, and all this stuff is the journey you're going to have to take dealing with where to attach the sling. And then, of course, comes what kind of sling. Generally speaking, nowadays, we're dealing with two types of slings. You have your single point or your 2-point sling. You have your modular slings that are capable of both single point and 2-point adaptations, and you have just kind of your very simple 2-point sling. This doesn't really go to 1 point at all. Two excellent slings that we sell here at the Alamo that I recommend. I run the Haley D3 sling. There's also the Blue Force sling here, which is excellent. It's basically the same thing. These are modular slings, and you have several options. So, for example, on my rifle right now, I'm running the Haley D3. I switch between single and 2-point. There are pros and cons to everything you do, right? So with single point, very easy to adapt to that. You just plug the adapter right into here, and now you have single point. The advantage of single point manipulation, single point slings, is you have a whole lot of mobility if you do transitions and so forth. When the gun is in your hand, you have a lot more freedom of motion, range of motion, etc. But the downside of single point slings is once you let that gun hang, you have no retention. So if you're moving around, running around, you're going to get clocked in all kinds of places you don't want to get clocked in, okay? So now, if you go back to your 2-point, you have retention here. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with the rifle if you need it out of your way. If you want to sling the rifle over your back and tighten it up, you can have the rifle retain on your back. So you have all those options, but then the thing is, if you are up in a position and I wanted to say do a transition, I can't do it. I'm going to get choked out by the sling. So I'd have to swim out of it, which is an option too, okay? But you have more stuff to get caught up in. However, when it comes to retention of the gun, transitions, that kind of thing, your 2-points definitely got a lot of advantages. So either way, you're going to have to deal with it, and it's going to have to become part of the rifle, okay? It's not like this thing that's this little separate thing hanging off the rifle. It is part of the gun and training, just like any other aspect of the weapon, okay? So it's a journey. You'll have to take it, exploration, experimentation, be open to doing all that stuff, and we hope to see you in one of our rifle classes soon.